Hi, it's Mr. Meister. I'm back in the control room again, and here today I want to talk about the job of the character generator. You may or may not know the character generator is the person who creates any graphics that appear over your video. So for example, if we were doing a news broadcast, and in that news broadcast, say I'm talking about soccer, you might see my name underneath here. You might see a picture of a soccer ball in this space over here with a little caption underneath it. All those graphics are created by someone who does what is called a character generator. Now, I often will refer to them as keys. I won't tell you why right now, but many times in industry they call them a key. So if you hear me say, hey, turn on the key or get this key ready, what we're really talking about are any of those graphics you need. Now, in a talk show like in this class, the keys are really simple to work with because we're really just talking about the title of the show, maybe the name of the host, the name of the guest, and the credits, and that's really it. So we're really talking about making 4 keys for your talk show, which honestly is pretty easy. So how do you do that? How do you create that? Well, if you're the character generator person, it's your assignment today to do that job. You're sitting somewhere right here in this area. You're going to be working with this computer, this mouse, this keyboard, and it doesn't get much more complex than that. So how exactly do you create these keys? Well, on this screen here, there are basically 3 areas that you want to kind of pay attention to. This first area over here is to select a particular graphic. Now, you may recall I said that there are 4 different graphics you're going to use. So if I want to edit or work with a particular graphic, this is my opening key graphic. This is my graphic for the host name. You can see here it says talk show host. If I click on this one over here, this says Elijah, my guest. And then obviously these are going to be my credits. So let's start off with changing, because it's going to be your job to update the graphics for each new show. So let's pretend we, for starters, want to change the name of Table Talk. All right, and we say, well, that's such a silly name. Who would call it that? So we're going to, there's 2 tools over here that I want to point out here. One is a text editing tool, and this arrow here, if I click on it and then click on any graphic or anything that's in here, it allows me to move it around. Now, you usually aren't going to want to move the graphics around. There's no need to, unless like a name is too long and it starts going off the screen, then you might need to pull it over. But generally speaking, you're going to always be using this text editing tool. All right, so there we have the text editing tool. And so let's change this from Table Talk to, say, Mornings with, and let's call it Kristen, because Kristen is going to be my host today. So, and you'll know that based upon the rotation schedule. So I've got Mornings with Kristen in there. Obviously, Kelly and Elijah were the ones who did this talk show yesterday, so we want to change that as well. So I'm going to click on Kelly and get rid of Kelly and change that to Kristen with Kristen. And my guest name today, let's say, is Rick. All right. So we got Rick in there. All right. So now I've got my opening graphic done here. If I now want to work with the name of the host, let's work on that. Click on Host once. And notice here, here's Kelly from the previous day. Let's change this to Kristen Kristen is my guest. And we'll put in her last name. And then she's my host, so we got the talk show host in there. Let's change the guest now as well. So I click over here on the guest. And let's change Elijah Musafiri to the name of our true guest, and that is Rick Halupnik. All right, and he is going to be the guest on the show today. And then finally, we go to the credits here. So if I click on this credit thing here, notice they come up over here. And I might want to say, okay, now I need to update all of the positions that are in the studio. I want to change the director, the technical director, and all of these positions of what people are doing. Well, again, that's not hard. Just click on your text editing tool, and if my director is, someone else, then go ahead and key in that name. Now, as you get further down to like the floor director or camera 1 or camera 2, you might be saying, hey, I'm not in that other room over there. How do I know who's doing what? And how do I know how to spell their name? I mean, I can ask the director who's sitting right over here and say, hey, how do you spell your last name? I've tried to make this real easy for you here. Somewhere near this computer on this desk, you'll see a list of all the people that are in your class. And if you're wondering, okay, who's doing camera today, posted on the wall right here is a rotation schedule. So if we're on day 5 today, I can see on day 5 camera is person's number 12 and person's number 7. All right, so I can look on here. Person number 12 is Joshua Morris, and person number 7 is Olivia Mahalski. And so I can see those two names that correspond right here. I know how to spell them, so I can just key them right in here with all of my credits, all right, and get them all in there. Make sure you change the date, you know, so you update your date and then your date doesn't look like it's super old. Once you're done and you've keyed all that in, this is all stuff you're doing before the show, your job gets pretty simple. About the only other thing I need to teach you is how do you get your keys into the show? Well, your job is just to get them ready. You may recall the job of the technical director is to change anything you're seeing visually. So your job is to get it ready. And so if I wanted, say, if the director said they wanted to see the opening key, it's your job to get it ready. So what you would do is you're going to actually double click, not once, but twice double click. And notice you'll see it appear over here. So I double click, and now you see that this graphic appeared up over here. It also says that this is what will be live. So now if my technical director turns on the key, this is what's going to show up. So the order of operations is the director would say, hey, ready to take the shot, ready to take the key. He's talking to the technical director. Now, you need to be listening, because if you say, whoa, whoa, the key's not ready, you need, whoa, whoa, the key's not ready. Get it ready. And so now when the technical director hits the button for downstream keyer and turns the key on, the correct key comes up. Now, you don't ever want to click the mouse until the key is turned off by the technical director. So wait till the director says, lose the key. Once the key is turned off, now you could get the next one ready, which would be the host key. I'm going to double click. And now I see the host key is ready to go here. And now I'm just going to sit and wait. And when the director tells the technical director, turn the key on, it's ready. And as soon as the director says, lose the key, that's my cue to say, I'm going to think ahead and help anticipate. And I'm going to get the next key ready. And I get it ready. Notice it changed now to Rick. And again, hands off. And I just wait until the director says he wants the key. Now my job is basically done until the commercial. And then when we come back from the commercial, obviously, once again, I could use the name of the show if you want. Some directors like that, some don't. But definitely, the first time you're on a medium shot of your host, get that key ready and show your audience that. The first time we're on a medium shot of the guest, which again, both of these will basically be the first few shots you use, have that key ready so the director can use it. And that really, in a nutshell, is how to do keys. Maybe the only thing I'm leaving out here is how to scroll the keys so they go nicely up the screen and look really professional. That's something I probably got to do live, so ask me when I'm not so busy and there's a little bit of downtime, say, how do I scroll the keys so they go really smoothly and look cool? That's all you need to know for Character Generator. Obviously, if you have questions, feel free to ask, but it's a pretty easy job.